In this lesson we're going to look at order of operation with integers. In primary school you use BIDMAS. In high school we use BIDMAS. Brackets B are done first. This order applies within a set of brackets as well. Next, indices or powers. These are the second level. At the third level we do division and multiplication. They occur together and have equal rights, and we do them from left to right. Lastly, we do addition and subtraction. They have equal rights as well, and they're done last, left to right. Let's have a look at some examples. This is our first example, 5 minus 6 times negative 2. Negative 2 is put in its own set of brackets, and often negative numbers are. Now there's no brackets and there's no powers, so we're going to do the multiply first. And this part of the multiply is 6 times negative 2. So 6 times negative 2 gives us negative 12. So we have 5 minus and negative 12. Now we have two signs together which we can replace with a single sign. And when the signs are the same, we can replace it with a plus. So our problem becomes 5 plus 12, which is equal to 17. In our second example, we have negative 3 divided by negative 1 plus 7 times negative 2. Now division and multiplication have equal rights, and we have both of them here. So we're going to do this one first, just because it's on the left. And we have a negative 3 divided by a negative 1. Now the signs are the same. When we multiply or divide, the answer is positive. So it's positive 3. Now I'll pop across now. I can't do the addition, so we'll do that last. I've got to do the multiply next. So it's 7 times negative 2. Now a positive number 7 times a negative number 2 is a negative answer, so negative 14 for that part. Again, I have two signs together, but this time the signs are different and I can replace them with a single minus. So I'm left with 3 minus 14, which takes us the other side of 0, is negative 11. In my third example, we have a bracket, and inside the bracket 7 minus negative 1 times 3 at the outside of the bracket. So I've got to do the bracket first. Now inside the bracket I have two signs together, a minus and a minus, so I can replace them with a positive or a plus. So the bracket is equal to 7 plus 1. Times 3 is not done yet. I've still got to work out the value of the bracket. 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. And finally 8 times 3 gives us 24. In my fourth example, we have negative 4 multiplying a bracket, and inside the bracket we have 2 minus negative 6 divided by 6. Now BIDMAS or BIDMAS applies inside a bracket as well. So I've got to, inside this bracket, do that division first. So we need to rewrite the things we haven't done yet. So I haven't done this multiply by the negative 4. The bracket's still there, the minus sign is there. And I want to work out negative 6 divided by 6. Now I know that's a 1, and when the signs are different for each pair of directed number, the answer is negative, so it's negative 1. Now I have two signs together which I can replace with one sign, so that can become a plus. So my bracket is equal to 2 plus 1. So minus 4 times the bracket, which is 2 plus 1, is 3. Nearly there. Do the multiply last. A negative times a positive is a negative, and 4 times 3 is 12, so negative 12. Let's find a couple of harder examples. Okay, so in this example we have a divide. That fraction bar means divide, and it actually has invisible brackets because before we can divide by 11 we actually have to work out the numerator. So sometimes this occurs and we need invisible brackets. If I tried to do this with my calculator, I would need to put that set of green brackets in to get the right answer. Alright, let's see what we have to do. So we have to do that numerator first, which I've just put the bracket in for. But BIDMAS or BIDMAS applies inside the bracket, so I've got to do the multiply. So I've got to figure out 25 times 2, which is 50. And then I have a minus minus. So I'm going to take care of that in a minute. And that's being all divided by 11. Now that minus and minus sign together can be replaced with a single sign. When the signs are the same, we replace them with a plus. So we end up now being able to work out the bracket is 50 plus 5 is 55. And the last step is divide by 11. 55 divided by 11 is 5. In example 6, we can see we've got divide, a plus, and a bracket. I'm going to do that bracket, and that bracket is being raised to a power 3. So I still have to work out what's inside the bracket first. Now, 7 take away 10 is negative. It goes past 0, so it's negative 3, and that negative 3 is being cubed. And we've got to write the rest in that we haven't done yet. So the plus and the divide. Now, indices come next, powers. And you remember that powers are shortcut multipliers. So we don't do 3 times 3. That would be the wrong way of doing it. So we've got to remember this power 3 means it's that thing that's in the bracket, negative 3, times itself 3 times. So we're going to work that out in a minute. We've got this 21 and we've got to divide, and we've got the negative 7 on the end there. Now working out this 3 times 3 times 3 bit, I'm going to do it one step at a time. I'm going to do negative times negative. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 3s are 9. Now I'm going to do 9 times negative 3. A positive times a negative is a negative, and 9 times 3 is 27. So that's the first one done. Now I can't do this plus yet, because remember, multiply and divide have equal rights. So I've got to do this next. So I'm going to put my plus in, because I'm going to do that last. And I've got 21 divided by negative 7. Now positive divided by a negative is a negative answer. So that's going to go in. And 7 goes into 21 3 times. These two signs together become a minus because they're different. So remember, I can replace two signs together with a single sign. And finally we have minus 27 minus 3. Well, we're getting further away from 0, so that's negative 30. In my last example, I've got a set of brackets over here and an indice, a multiply, and a divide. I have to do that set of brackets first here at the end. Anyway, so let's have a look inside that set of brackets. Now I have multiply and divide together. That's being divided by a negative 10. So I have to work with them with equal rights from left to right. If I don't go left to right, I'll get them wrong. So the other stuff I haven't done yet, I'm going to leave there. So I write that in my working out. And I'm working out this bracket. I can change the shape of the bracket, there's no problem. So I'm going to do this part first. 50 is what 10 times 5 is equal to. And so I'm left with 50 divided by negative 10. Now 50 divided by negative 10, a positive divided by a negative will give me a negative answer. So I'm going to end up with a negative answer, and 10 goes into 55 times. Phew, well that's done. And we're down to now the indice. The indice comes next. Now remember what the indice means. It means not 5 times 2. It means take this minus 5 and write it down twice. So negative 5 times negative 5 divided by negative 5. Whoops, I left out the times 6, so let's squeeze that in there. Get rid of this. Put the times 6 in. That was nearly a big mistake. And divided by negative 5. Right, so we've got a few things to do here. So let's see what we're going to do first. I'm going to do them 2 at a time. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 5 times 5 is 25. So far, so good. I still have to go left to right because multiply and divide has equal rights. So I've got to do this part first. Now 4 25s is 100. and 2 25s is 50. So that must be 150. And the last step is to divide that 150 by -5. Now, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. And 5 into 150, well, 5 goes into 15 3 times, and we've got a 0, so it must go in -30 times.